going to take apart a Lambretta motor to replace the clutch. First of all, what you do is you have some 10mm nuts that go around the sides here, and there's also some 12mm studs that go here. Anyway, so you take that all off and basically remove the side case. Now inside the side case you obviously have the final drive along with the clutch assembly here. First of all, this is your thimble, make sure you don't lose that. So what we'll do now is we'll take the clutch compressor tool, which is designed to compress the clutch and allow you to remove all of the clutch plates. So basically how you do that is you put that down and then you'll need some 10mm nuts. Alright, now that we have the 10mm nuts cinched on, we basically move the compression tool down. Get it to where it's nice and sturdy, and then we start compressing. And just compress it to where you feel like it's stiff enough to where you can see that it's dropped and there's a circlip that needs to be removed. Basically, to remove the circlip, you can find the area right there, take a screwdriver and just slowly move it off from tab to tab, and it'll jump out just like that. Okay, now you have your circlip, make sure you don't lose it, and here is the first plate, which is the outer plate, and it's easy to tell what it is because it's got a little tint in it. Okay, so now what we do is we back out the compression tool. Once we back it out, then we will be able to take the plates out, as well as the springs that are in there as well. Okay, so now that we've got it out of the way a little bit, take your thimble right here and just put it on one of these studs so that way you won't lose it. That's what I do. Okay, and this is your outside plate. Obviously it's thicker and it also has a rounded edge to it. Put that down first. These plates are brand new. So we won't be getting brand new plates in here. But basically what you would do normally is, if these were worn out, you'd take them out, check to see if the plates here, you would measure them to see if they were within tolerance that they need to be. For those tolerances, you can check your manual for whatever model that you have. And there we go. And this is your inner actuator here. And here are your springs. And basically what I do is I take grease. I've already greased these already, but basically I take grease and take the springs and dab them in some grease and then put them in here. The reason why I do that is oftentimes the engine is inside of the case or inside of the frame, and when you take the case off, obviously gravity's going to work against you. So basically what we do is we put the grease on the springs and put it back in there. Okay, and now after we've taken our clutch plates and put them inside some oil for about 10 minutes, then we take them back and we assemble the motor back together, or the clutch back together. So basically we put this in here, making sure we don't knock over any springs. If we do, no big deal, we can just straighten it out. You want to line it up to where all of the springs match a cup that's in on the top here. Okay, so basically make sure that all the springs are lined up, that they're not falling down like this one here. Okay, that's all in there, that's all good and ready to go. Okay, now we start putting our clutch plates back in. First start with a cork plate, because this is a friction plate here, and we put that in there. And we just start building it. Now obviously it's not going to fall into place yet because it's not compressed. So what we do basically is we just get it close enough to where we can line them up and cinch them down once it's actually compressed. The friction plates, all of the tabs run inward, and the cork plates, all of the tabs run outward. So that's a good way to remember that. And there you go. And one more. And then our final. Now we're going to compress the clutch. So we can put the plates back in. We have the thimble in there. Okay. So now that we have that in there, we can now start putting the plates in. And like I said, you know, the outer ones and the inner ones. And let's see here. Alright, now that it's all in there, now we take our circlip. And what you want to do is you want to find a nice back spot for it right here so that it'll end up being collapsed underneath one of the tabs. So, see, it's not quite there, so we'll just push it in there a little bit. Okay, so there we are. Now the clutch is totally collapsed and put in, now we decompress the clutch, and if all goes right, it all stays there. Okay. That is how you do a Lambretta clutch. A few things to note. You should probably change your clutch every 10 to 15,000 miles, or whenever you do feel some slippage when you're actually transferring from gear to gear. Sometimes it's just a matter of adjusting your clutch. Sometimes it's a matter of just changing your clutch. There are also a few different items you can put in your clutch. There are performance clutches where they use less plates. There's also 3 different kinds of springs. There's a standard spring, a race spring, and then also Dean Speed has a spring that's actually kind of in between a mid-grade of those. And usually you put those in for when you have a kit. Because a standard piston and a standard bore doesn't really require much of your clutch, but when you actually kit up your bike, it does require a little bit more of your clutch. So I hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you next time.
Get up, Flashy! It's a monster. A tribute to the late and great Prince Rough, ever tough. Mercy! Mercy, mercy. Reggae, got soul. I dig for mommy, I say I dig for daddy.